Welcome, my friend, and thank you for joining me tonight at DreamLore Stories. I'll be here beside you to keep you company as the night grows quiet. Let the soft glow of the fire and the calm of the evening remind you that you are safe and you are not alone. Together, we'll drift gently into a story.
Whispers of night, guiding you into dreams.
Let's sit for a moment. Close your eyes. Take a long breath, then release it slowly. Feel the warmth of your blanket, and let all the sounds of today fade away, becoming a faint memory. Now, between a breath and a sigh, we will enter a story born from the whispers of the night wind and woven from starlight. This is the tale of a very peaceful place, a place that waits in our dreams, a place called the Kingdom of Lunaris. The world, for a long, long while, has been settling into its slumber. The sun, a warm, tired friend, has dipped below the horizon, taking with it the bright, bustling noises of the day. A final, tired blush of orange and purple paints the western sky, a gentle farewell, before fading into a deep, rich indigo. The birds have tucked themselves into their nests, their sleepy chirps becoming fewer and farther between. The busy sounds of the afternoon, the murmur of distant voices and the rush of the wind have been replaced by the quiet hum of a world exhaling a long, slow breath. It is a slow, languid farewell, a moment of graceful transition from the warmth of day to the cool embrace of evening. The world doesn't just quiet down. It murmurs itself into silence, a process as gradual and reassuring as the unfurling of a new leaf. The scent of pine and damp earth rises to meet the cooling air, and a sense of deep, abiding peace settles over the land, a stillness that feels both ancient and new. If you were to look up, you would see it. A sky so deep and dark, it feels like an endless ocean. And in this ocean, a million tiny shimmering diamonds are scattered, each one a star, winking a soft hello from light years away. They are so very old, and they know so many secrets. They have seen ages come and go, watched mountains grow and crumble, and held the light of countless suns within their hearts. They are not just lights, they are ancient storytellers, tracing familiar shapes in the heavens. The great bear, the gentle shepherd, the hunter with his bow. These constellations are not merely patterns, they are ancient guides, telling stories of courage and kindness, of forgotten heroes and quiet truths. Each star is a tiny, silent guardian, and their collective energy is a gentle, comforting hum. If you listen very closely, letting your mind grow still, you might even hear them humming a quiet, celestial lullaby, a song older than memory itself, a song only heard by the sleeping heart. There is a legend, whispered among the oldest trees, that the stars are fragments of a great cosmic pearl that shattered long, long ago, and that the light they carry is the memory of that ancient, perfect glow. Below this blanket of stars lies a valley, but it is not a normal valley. This is the Silver Valley, and tonight it is bathed in a pale, ethereal glow. The source of this light is the moon, a great pearly orb hanging high in the sky. She is the queen of this night, casting her gentle light upon everything below, transforming the ordinary into something truly magical. The moonlight doesn't just illuminate, it paints the world in shades of pearl and shadow. It spills across the landscape like a silver mist, turning the fields of sleeping wildflowers into a sea of frosted silver and catching on the smooth, polished stones of the riverbed. The moonlight here feels different, not cold or stark, but soft and purposeful, as if it carries a gentle, waking touch for those who are ready to dream. It settles on the velvety moss of the ancient oaks, the smooth, cool stones of the riverbanks, and the delicate furled petals of the night-blooming flowers. Every object seems to have a gentle outline of silver, a soft luminescence that makes the world feel both familiar and wondrous. And look, the rivers here do not simply flow. They glide, they shimmer, they dance with the moonlight. The water itself seems to hold the moon's light, turning each winding stream into a silver ribbon, unfurling itself through the soft, velvet darkness of the landscape. They sing a song without words, a low, liquid hum that echoes the silent melody of the stars. These rivers are living mirrors, holding the moon and a few thousand stars within their glassy embrace. But more than that, they hold the memories of the sky they reflect, a cool, fluid history of countless nights. The trees on the riverbanks are silhouetted against this glow, their leaves rustling, a quiet thank you to the passing breeze. This breeze is a character all its own. It doesn't push or rush, it drifts, a soft sigh moving through the valley, carrying the fragrance of night-blooming jasmine and the cool, earthy smell of moss. This breeze is a wanderer, too, a gentle messenger that tells you secrets of the day, telling you of the little fox who curled up in a burrow, or the sleepy owl who just opened one eye to watch the moon rise. It carries the fragrance of the moon petals that only bloom in this valley, a scent as sweet and fleeting as a waking dream.
Very in the distance, perched on the highest craggy cliffs, a shape rises against the starlit sky. It is Moonspire Castle. Its towers are so tall they seem to touch the moon itself, and their spires gleam like polished silver. Built from a rare, luminous stone known as moondust marble, the castle stands as a silent sentinel over the sleeping kingdom. Its high walls hold the dreams and histories of generations, and its quiet courtyards are home to the soft echoes of laughter and hushed words from long ago. The very walls seem to hum with a gentle power, as if they hold the whispers of ancient spells and the promise of tomorrow's dawn. It is a place of stories, each window and archway a frame for a tale of love, loyalty, and quiet wisdom. This is not just a place of power, but a living memory, a heart that beats with the rhythm of the kingdom. This is the heart of our story, the center of the Kingdom of Lunaris, and I, a simple wanderer who has traveled many paths, have come to this very spot to share its tale with you. My own feet, weary from travel, find rest in this valley, and my voice is here to weave this tale with the threads of moonlight and dream. It is a story that cannot be rushed, for it belongs to the stillness of the night, to the quiet moments between breaths. Gather your softest blankets and rest your head on your pillow. Close your eyes, but keep your ears open, and allow your mind to drift. We are not here to talk of great battles or loud shouts. This is a quiet story, meant to be heard as the world grows still. It is a story whispered by the breeze, a secret held by the starlight, a promise carried on the gentle current of the silver river. For the story of Lunaris is not just in the words I speak, but in the air we breathe, in the cool earth below us, and in the gentle light that fills the night. The Kingdom of Lunaris is a place where dreams are as real as stones, and where magic isn't something you learn from a book, but something you feel in your heart. It is the warmth in a cup of chamomile tea on a chilly night, the light that seems to live in the eyes of a loved one, and the feeling of knowing without a doubt that you are exactly where you are meant to be. This magic is in the way the flowers turn their faces to the moon, the way a gentle touch can soothe a troubled mind, and in the quiet certainty that good things are always possible. It is ruled by Queen Seraphina, a woman whose wisdom is as deep as the night, and whose heart is as bright as the moon she is named for. Tonight, we begin her story. We will start with a quiet moment long ago, on a night much like this one, when the moon hung full and bright in the sky, and the silence of the Silver Valley was broken by the sound of a small, forgotten lullaby. It was the first note of a song that has been waiting for centuries to be heard, a soft, pure melody that rippled through the valley like the surface of the river, reaching out to touch the quiet hearts of all who were sleeping. This lullaby, though forgotten by the waking world, was held safe in the memories of the crickets, in the gentle rustling of the leaves, and in the very stones of the valley, just waiting for a quiet night like this to be heard once more. Now, let your breathing become as slow as the winding river, and let the softness of the night take you. Let the gentle current of this story carry you to the quiet shores of sleep. The tale of Lunaris awaits, ready to unfold as we settle deeper into the quiet, and as the moon continues her watch over the sleeping world. Sleep now, and dream of silver rivers and starlit skies. Now, as the Silver Valley breathes its quiet moonlit sigh, let us turn our gaze back in time to a different age, before Moonspire Castle had ever graced the craggy cliffs. In those days, the world was a little louder, a little less certain, and the Kingdom of Lunaris was only a whisper of a dream in the heart of a young queen. Her name was Seraphina, and she was not like other rulers. She did not crave land or treasure. She craved quiet. Her wisdom was not born of scrolls or great speeches, but from the stillness she found within herself. She was known to spend long hours beneath the night sky, not for study, but for communion. For it was in those hushed, silvery hours that the moon spoke to her, not in words, but in luminous, flowing visions that came to her like soft, waking dreams. The moonlight would stream through her window, a soft, silver ribbon that fell across the floor and pooled at her feet. As she sat in this silent space, she would feel a deep resonance, a harmony between her own quiet heart and the gentle rhythm of the cosmos. The visions were never jarring or loud. They simply unfurled like a slow blooming flower, and within their soft radiance she understood things that words could never convey.
One night, the moon's message was clearer than ever before. Seraphina sat by a window, the light of the full moon pouring over her like liquid silver, and a vision began to form behind her closed eyes. She saw a valley, bathed in the very light she was absorbing, a place so calm and beautiful it seemed to exist just on the edge of the world. She saw rivers of liquid moonlight shimmering with an inner glow, a gentle light that seemed to rise from the depths of the water itself. She saw ancient, sturdy oaks whose leaves held the memory of the wind, their branches reaching up like arms in a silent dance. In this dream valley, tiny silver-winged moths fluttered from bloom to bloom, their wings catching the lunar glow like living jewels. She saw a rare, pale flower, the Lunaris bloom, that opened its petals only when the moonlight was at its peak, releasing a sweet fragrance that seemed to fill every corner of her vision. And she saw, rising from a high, shadowed cliffside, the faintest outline of a castle, a place that felt more like a sanctuary than a fortress, with towers that did not reach for the clouds in defiance, but rather in quiet, respectful salutation. It was a vision of home, not just for her, but for all who felt the call of the quiet night. The vision was so vivid that when it faded, a gentle scent of night-blooming jasmine lingered in the air around her, a sweet, impossible fragrance that confirmed its truth. The next morning, Seraphina announced her intent to leave her old kingdom. Her advisors were troubled, and her people were confused. How could a queen abandon a thriving realm for a place she had only seen in a dream? But when they looked into her eyes, they saw not a dreamer's folly, but a deep, unwavering certainty. Her quiet conviction was a kind of magic all its own, and a small, devoted band of followers gathered to join her on her pilgrimage. They were the ones who also felt the world's clamor too keenly, the ones who yearned for a place of gentle purpose. Their journey did not rush. It was a slow, deliberate winding through forests and over hills, following the moon's silent guidance each night. They learned to listen to the whisper of the breeze, to feel the pull of the stars, and to trust that the path would reveal itself. They traveled with a patience that the world had forgotten, walking by night and resting by day, their footsteps leaving no harsh marks upon the earth. They passed through lands of noisy markets and hurried people, but they did not stop, for their destination was not a place on any map, but a feeling in their hearts. Weeks turned into months, and then one night they arrived. As they crested the final hill, the sight before them was exactly as the Queen had described. The silver valley stretched out, a landscape painted in shades of pearl and shadow. The rivers flowed like liquid light, and the air was filled with the soft, sweet scent of the night-blooming jasmine from her vision. The air felt different here. It was lighter, purer, as if it had been breathing moonlight for 1,000 years. Seraphina dismounted her horse, her heart full of a peace she had never known. She walked to the very center of the valley, to a point where the moonlight seemed to pool on the ground, and with a voice as soft as the breeze, she declared, "Here, in this place where the moon's light finds its home, we will build ours. This will be the Kingdom of Lunaris." The words were not a command, they were an invitation, a gentle melody that seemed to resonate with the very stones of the valley. The construction of Moonspire Castle began, but it was unlike any construction the world had ever seen. There were no loud hammers or shouting overseers. Instead, the work was guided by a rhythm of its own, a quiet, harmonious effort. The builders discovered that the stone of the cliffs, which they named moondust marble, absorbed and held the moonlight, glowing faintly from within. They learned to cut and shape it, not with force, but with patience, as if coaxing each stone into place. At night, the work continued under the pale, ethereal light of the moon. The castle walls rose not like a barrier, but like a beacon. The towers were not a challenge to the sky, but a quiet plea to reach it, and their forms seemed to mimic the gentle rise of the hills on which they stood. The spires, polished to a mirror-like sheen, seemed to drink the light, and from their highest points, a gentle, silvery glow was cast across the valley, a protective and welcoming light. The castle became a part of the landscape, not an intrusion upon it, its form echoing the quiet grace of the cliffs on which it stood.
In the early days of the kingdom, life was simple and centered around the quiet rhythms of the moon. The people of Lunaris were the first to light silver torches at moonrise, a gentle, wordless ceremony that marked the beginning of their shared night. The flames of these torches were not bright or harsh, but soft and steady, like a warm, comforting hug, illuminating the space between them without casting harsh shadows. They would gather in the castle courtyards to share stories and songs, their voices kept low so as not to disturb the sleeping world. They learned to read the sky, to understand the subtle shifts in the moon's phases and the silent language of the stars. The magic of Lunaris was in these moments, in the quiet joy of a shared meal under the open sky, in the gentle reassurance of a hand held in the soft light of the moon, and in the deep, peaceful knowledge that they had found their place. Queen Seraphina herself would often sit among her people, her presence a source of calm, her quiet wisdom a light that guided them through their first challenges. She taught them that true strength was not in a loud voice, but in a quiet heart, and that the kingdom was not just a place of walls and stone, but a feeling of belonging held within each and every person. It was a shared secret, a silent understanding that they were all connected by the same gentle light, the same deep peace. The castle and the kingdom became one, a testament to a quiet, powerful vision. It was a place where all who were weary of the world's clamor could find rest, and where the most important lessons were learned in the stillness of the night. It was a kingdom built on a dream, a secret kept in the heart of a gentle queen. And as the kingdom grew, so too did its story, a story that was just beginning to unfold. The quiet of the valley held a deeper truth, a mystery waiting to be discovered under the silver light. But that is a tale for another time. Now, let the soft light of the moon find your window, and let its gentle glow soothe you. The tale of Lunaris will wait for tomorrow, held safe in the heart of the night. Sleep now, and dream of the quiet beauty of a kingdom born of starlight and moonbeams. And with the passing of many moons, the quiet kingdom of Lunaris blossomed into its own beautiful, gentle rhythm. As we rest our heads in the quiet of the night, let us drift forward in time once more to a moment that echoes the very beginning of the kingdom. It is a night when the moon hangs high and full, bathing the silver valley in her most generous light. This night is known throughout the kingdom as the Festival of Whispering Lights, a sacred tradition that celebrates the quiet magic Queen Seraphina first saw in her visions. This festival did not begin with a royal decree or a grand announcement, but rather with a shared, wordless understanding among the first families of Lunaris. They recalled how the Queen's vision had been filled with a soft, ethereal glow, and they sought to replicate that feeling, to bring a part of their founder's dream to life each year. The festival became a living memory, a quiet tribute to the peace they had found. On this night, the valley is not just beautiful, it is alive with a gentle, shared joy, a feeling as soft and bright as the light that fills it. The air, already so pure and cool, carries the sweet, new scent of 1,000 paper lanterns, a smell that is both delicate and deeply comforting, a fragrance that whispers of hope and shared belonging. The people of Lunaris do not rush to this festival. There is no frantic preparation, no loud counting of days. The festival comes to them as gently as a sigh. They walk with a quiet anticipation, their footsteps soft upon the mossy ground, as if the earth itself is a sleeping friend they do not wish to disturb. Each family, each person, carries a small, meticulously crafted lantern made from the thinnest rice paper, which feels like a captured cloud, and a frame of slender silver willow. The willows are chosen from the banks of the river, their branches holding the memory of flowing water. The creation of each lantern is a meditation. Hands work with care, fingers folding and shaping the paper with a slow, deliberate grace. Within each lantern, a single flickering flame glows, lit from the enduring silver torches that have burned in Moonspire Castle since the kingdom's founding. This light is not harsh, but a warm, honeyed gold, a perfect contrast to the pale silver of the moon. This ritual of lighting the lanterns is a silent one, a moment of profound intention, where each person holds a whispered wish, a secret hope,
or a loving memory within the gentle glow. The flame is a small living heart, held safe within the delicate paper walls, a symbol of the quiet truths that sustain the kingdom. It is a promise made to the self and to the community, a small act of faith that the light of their quiet dreams will never go out.
The procession begins at Moonspire Castle, where the people gather in the castle courtyards. The air hums with a shared stillness, a feeling of peaceful anticipation. The youngest children, their eyes wide with wonder, hold their parents' hands, their tiny lanterns swaying like fireflies in the night. The elders, with their hair like spun moonlight, walk at a slow, peaceful pace, their faces holding the reflections of countless festivals past. They do not need to speak of the memories, for they are written in the quiet lines around their eyes and the gentle smiles on their lips. There is no loud chatter, no clamor of celebration. Instead, a low melodic hum rises from the crowd, a sound born of shared peace and contentment. It is a sound that feels as if it has always existed, as if it is woven into the very fabric of the valley itself. As the line of people moves toward the river, it is as if the castle itself is breathing out a long, luminous sigh, sending its light to meet the water below. It is a slow, graceful descent, a river of people and light moving through the shadows, a silent promise of the beauty to come. And then the music begins. It is the music of silver-strung harps and crystal flutes, played by the most gentle-hearted musicians in the kingdom. Their instruments are as much a part of the landscape as the trees and the stones. The harps, each string made from a woven strand of spun starlight, resonate with a deep liquid tone, a sound that feels like the slow, quiet lapping of water on the shore. The flutes, carved from polished quartz, sing with a high, pure voice, their notes like the tinkling of ice on a winter night, or the soft call of a bird from a great distance. But there is another sound too, a quiet, ethereal choir of voices, so low and soft they are barely audible, a sound that feels less like singing and more like the very valley itself whispering. These are the voices of the valley, a group who learn to harmonize with the sound of the wind through the leaves and the gentle rush of the river, creating a sound that is both human and deeply rooted in the land. Together, all of these elements create a melody that feels like a conversation between the stars and the river. It is a song that tells stories of ancient trees and quiet heroes, of wishes granted and promises kept, of the gentle, unhurried passage of time. The music seems to settle over the valley, wrapping around the shoulders of the people and mingling with the soft hum of the night, making it impossible to tell where the melody ends and the world begins. As the procession reaches the riverbank, the lanterns are released. One by one, with a soft splash and a gentle push, they're set afloat. They do not drift away quickly. The river, as if in a sleepy, graceful dance, holds them for a moment, letting them spin slowly in a shimmering circle before carrying them onward. The sight is breathtaking. 1,000 tiny golden lights begin to drift along the dark, silver surface of the river, each one a small, beautiful boat carrying its wish toward the heart of the valley. The moonlight catches on the paper and the water, and the river is transformed into a moving constellation, a slow, gentle mirror of the sky above. The scene is so still, so utterly perfect, that it seems to exist outside of time. Each lantern is a tiny, luminous star, a reflection of the silent promise held within. The river becomes a pathway of dreams, a shimmering road of light that carries the hopes and memories of the people on its gentle current, a path connecting them not just to each other, but to the very essence of Lunaris. Children and elders stand side by side, watching in hushed silence. The children point with tiny fingers, their faces glowing with awe, and the elders smile, a quiet, knowing light in their eyes. The scene is a living tapestry of generations, a seamless blending of the past and the future. The older ones who have witnessed this ceremony countless times still find a deep and abiding peace in its repetition, while the young ones, experiencing it for the first time, are filled with a wonder that will guide them throughout their lives. There is no sense of time passing, only of a moment that could last forever. The old ones remember placing their own wishes on the river, and the young ones dream of the day they will do the same. And in that shared moment, the circle of life feels complete and perfect. The joy is not a loud, boisterous thing, but a deep, quiet contentment that settles into the very core of one's being. It is the joy of belonging, of being part of something larger and more peaceful than oneself, of knowing that the simple act of lighting a lantern can connect you to the history and the future of a place.
The air is filled with the feeling of harmony and timeless peace. The world outside Lunaris may be filled with clamor and hurry, but here, the only sound is the gentle lapping of the river, the soft notes of the flutes and harps, and the quiet whisper of the breeze. The lanterns drift farther, becoming tiny glimmering specks on the horizon, until they are no longer visible, but their light, their promise, remains. The music fades to a memory, and the people begin to walk back toward their homes, carrying the gentle magic of the festival within their hearts. They do not talk much, for there is nothing that needs to be said. The peace of the night, the beauty of the lanterns, and the quiet joy of their shared presence have said it all. Each person walks with a deep, abiding sense of purpose, not a hurried purpose, but a calm, steady one, a purpose to live a life that honors the quiet light they carry within. They know that this peace is a gift, one that must be tended and protected, and that their shared quiet is their greatest strength. The Kingdom of Lunaris is a place where every night holds a touch of magic, and where the most important stories are the ones that unfold in the stillness. The story of the silver rivers, the ancient harps, and the gentle people who honor the moon's light is one that has been told for ages. And as the last light of the festival fades from sight, the world returns to its quiet, sleepy hum, waiting for the next part of the story to be whispered on the breeze. Now, let the peace of this night find you, and let the gentle glow of the whispering lights guide you to the softest of dreams. Sleep now, little one, and know that in the quiet of the night, The world is holding its breath just for you. Now that we have seen the great celebrations of the moon, let us turn our eyes to the quiet, gentle hum of everyday life in Lunaris. For this is a kingdom where even the most ordinary moments hold a touch of magic, and the passage of time is measured not by clocks, but by the slow, steady rhythm of the moon and stars. The valley, so grand and luminous on festival nights, is just as peaceful and lovely in the light of the day. The sun, a warm and golden friend, rises over the eastern cliffs, casting long, soft shadows that stretch like sleepy arms across the fields. Its light is never harsh, but filtered through the mist that lingers in the valley, giving everything a soft, painterly quality. As it climbs higher, the air warms with a sweet, floral fragrance that seems to rise from the very ground itself, a scent of dew-kissed petals and sun-warmed earth. It is a world of soft colors and quiet movements, a place where every person finds their own gentle purpose, woven into the fabric of the community, like a single thread in a vast, beautiful tapestry. The farmers of Lunaris do not toil, they tend. Their fields are not filled with harsh, sun-scorched earth, but with rich, dark soil that seems to hold the very memory of the night's dew, soft and pliable underfoot. They work barefoot, their connection to the land a feeling as much as a practice. Their tools are simple and smooth, carved from dark, unblemished wood that fits comfortably in the hand. They grow crops that thrive in the cool, gentle air of the valley. There are rows of silver-leafed herbs, such as moon petal and starglaze, their leaves catching the sunlight with a soft metallic sheen, their fragrance a clean and earthy promise that whispers of quiet healing. They cultivate plump, rosy berries that glow with an inner light, as if they have captured a small piece of the moon for themselves, and they say a taste of these berries brings on the most peaceful dreams. They also grow moon wheat, its stalks shimmering silver in the breeze, which they use to bake the softest, most nourishing bread. The farmers work with a quiet patience, their hands moving with the grace of those who are in harmony with the land. They do not speak much as they work, but they hum soft, low tunes that seem to encourage the plants to grow, a shared melody that has echoed across these fields for generations. They know that the earth is a living thing, and they treat it with the same kindness and respect they would a friend, a gentle partnership that yields the most bountiful and beautiful harvest. In the market, at the heart of the village, the atmosphere is one of peaceful commerce. There is no loud shouting or haggling. Instead, quiet greetings are exchanged, and goods are passed from hand to hand with a gentle understanding, a nod and a soft smile, often the only currency needed. The artisans display their wares on smooth, river-worn stones. Here you will find baskets woven from moon silk, a thread spun by tiny silver spiders who live only on the highest branches of the ancient oaks. The fabric is light as a whisper and shimmers with a soft, ethereal glow. So delicious, it feels like holding a piece of woven moonlight.
You can see carvers shaping river stones into smooth worry-stone statues, each one holding a unique, soothing energy and a cool, comforting weight in the palm of your hand. The jewelers work with the purest silver, using slender tools no larger than a whisper, creating delicate filigree that catches the light like frozen starlight, each piece a small personal tribute to the moon's quiet beauty.
There are also bakers who sell warm pastries filled with those same rosy berries, their sweetness a gentle, perfect treat that tastes like a summer afternoon. The market is not a place for hurried business, but for connection and a shared appreciation for the simple, beautiful things that their life provides. As the sun begins its slow descent, a feeling of deep, cozy peace settles over the valley. The long, golden light stretches out, touching the high peaks with a final farewell glow. The air cools, and the evening breeze begins its soft, whispering song through the trees, a lullaby that invites the day to end. One by one, the cottages begin to glow from within, like tiny stars settling on the earth. Each window holds a glowing crystal lantern, a small magical stone that was harvested from the deepest caves in the cliffs. These stones, a gift from the earth, absorbed the day's sunlight and now radiate a warm, comforting light. These lanterns do not cast shadows, they dissolve them, filling the rooms with a soft, golden warmth that invites rest and quiet conversation. The light spills onto the garden paths, making them easy to navigate for any late-night strolls, and it streams out into the night, a tiny welcoming beacon for any who might be feeling lost or alone. The side of the valley, dotted with these small, quiet lights, is like looking at a constellation made of home. Outside, as the moon begins her slow rise, the village children gather at the edge of the glowing river. This is their own small, special ritual, a quiet counterpoint to the grand festival. They have carefully folded paper boats, each one a tiny, delicate vessel, and they set them afloat on the shining water. They do not carry wishes, but stories. Each boat is a tiny story carrier, holding the day's small adventures, a secret shared with a friend, or a funny thought that made them laugh. A child might whisper to their boat about the ladybug they saw on a moon petal leaf, or the elder who told them a story of a silent owl. The boats drift gently, a miniature fleet of dreams, and the children watch with rapt attention, their faces illuminated by the soft, silvery light, their small hands clasped together in shared awe. The sounds that rise from the riverbank are not loud or boisterous, but the gentle sounds of laughter, a soft, tinkling sound like bells in the distance, and the low murmur of simple songs they sing to their paper boats, melodies passed down from parent to child, each one a small gift of quiet love, like a whispered promise in the dark. This is the harmony of Lunaris, a kingdom where every day is as beautiful as the most special night. The rhythm of their lives is a reflection of the peace they carry within, a quiet celebration of their shared existence. It is a place where you can feel the quiet contentment of the earth beneath your feet and see the ancient wisdom in the stars above. It is a place where even the most mundane of tasks is done with a sense of purpose and quiet grace. And as the sounds of laughter fade and the last paper boat drift out of sight, a perfect stillness returns to the valley, a deep, silent peace that waits for the next day to begin. The people of Lunaris are not heroes or kings, but the quiet keepers of a peaceful, beautiful world. Now let the gentle hum of Lunaris fill your mind, and let the soft light of the crystal lanterns guide you to a world of restful dreams. The story is not yet finished, but the final chapter can wait until morning. We have journeyed through the day and night of Lunaris, seeing the peaceful lives of its people. But there is another layer to this kingdom, a deeper hum that resonates with the celestial rhythm of the heavens.
It is found in their cultural traditions, the quiet, beautiful ceremonies that honor the moon and bind the community together. These are not grand spectacles, but gentle rituals woven into the fabric of their days and nights, a quiet celebration of their harmony with the world around them. The people of Lunaris do not just live under the moon, they live in concert with it. Their lives a reflection of its patient, cyclical dance across the sky. As the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in soft shades of lavender and rose, the valley begins to stir with a different kind of energy. It is the time of the night markets, which spring to life not with the bustle of daylight, but with a serene, almost silent grace. The paths that wind through the village are lined with stalls, each one a work of quiet art, crafted from polished, dark woods and draped with woven fabrics that shimmer like spun silk. Each stall is glowing with the soft, internal light of countless tiny crystal lanterns.
Unlike the lanterns in the cottages, these crystals are not a warm golden hue, but a cool, silvery blue, casting a tranquil, ethereal light that makes the darkness feel welcoming and safe. There is no need for torches or sharp, fiery glows. The crystal light is enough, a quiet promise of beauty in the night. The market is a place of quiet wonder. Artisans display their most delicate creations, things that feel too precious for the sun's bright gaze. Here you might find small, intricately carved wind chimes made from moon-smoothed pebbles and whispers of silver, which catch the gentle night breeze and produce a sound like soft, distant bells. The scent of baked pastries, filled with glowing berries and dusted with shimmering sugar, drifts through the air, warm and sweet, mingled with the earthy aroma of freshly brewed lunar mint tea. The air is filled with the low hum of peaceful conversation and the gentle passing of goods from hand to hand. Storytellers sit on low, rounded stones, their voices a soft murmur as they share tales of the constellations, the gentle legends of the animals who became stars, and the ancient poems of Queen Seraphina herself. Children gather at their feet, their eyes wide with sleepy delight, mesmerized by the quiet magic of the words. The atmosphere is not one of frantic buying and selling, but of quiet appreciation, a space for the community to gather under the moon's watchful eye and share in the beauty of their collective creation. In Lunaris, music is not a performance, but a conversation. It is the true language of the valley, a flowing, gentle current that carries the spirit of the people. As the night deepens, the sounds of harps and flutes begin to echo from the cliffs surrounding Moonspire Castle. The musicians, often elderly and full of quiet wisdom, are perched on natural rock ledges, almost blending in with the stone itself. They do not play for applause, but for the sheer joy of it, their melodies weaving a delicate tapestry that drifts through the air. The harps, with strings made from spun moonlight, produce a sound like the gentle plinking of raindrops on a still lake. Each note a perfect, quiet chime that resonates in the darkness. The flutes, carved from the hollow stems of river reeds, sing a clear, soaring song like a night bird calling to its mate from a great distance, a melody of pure and simple joy. And from the heart of the village, a low collective hum begins, the gentle chants of the elders. These are not loud or percussive, but soft, rolling sounds that feel more like a quiet breath. The chants speak of gratitude for the moon's light, for the river's life-giving current, and for the peace that fills their home. It is a shared song, a deep and calming melody that unites every person in the valley in a single beautiful moment of peace. The most cherished traditions of Lunaris are the festivals honoring the moon's cycles. They do not mark the turning of the seasons, for their world feels like an endless gentle autumn. Instead, they mark the waning and waxing of the moon itself, each phase holding a unique significance. When the new moon arrives, a time of quiet reflection and new beginnings, the villagers gather in a circle at the very heart of the valley, where the river widens into a serene pool. They hold hands, their faces lifted to the inky sky where the moon is hidden, and they speak in whispers of their hopes for the coming month, a silent promise to the heavens. Each person brings a small, unadorned silver sphere, a token of their quiet wish, and one by one they release them into the pool, watching as the spheres dissolve into a cloud of shimmering silver dust, a beautiful ritual of releasing their intentions to the universe. As the moon grows and becomes full, a celebration of bounty and light, the valley is awash with the gentle silver glow. Families gather together, sharing stories of their ancestors, passing down wisdom and lore with each word, the moon's face their only witness. The full moon festival is the most joyous, but it is also the most serene, a perfect balance of celebration and quiet reverence. Tables are laid out on the dew-kissed grass, laden with the fruits of their labor, those glowing berries and the soft silver bread. The eldest members of the community walk from family to family, and as they tell a story of a great-great-grandmother who tamed a star gazelle, or a great-great-grandfather who wove the first moon silk, they place a gentle hand on a child's shoulder, a silent gesture that says, "This story is now a part of you." And as the moon wanes, they enter a time of quiet rest, a period for stillness and deep dreams, a time to let the mind and heart be cleansed, just as the moon slowly becomes invisible, waiting to be born anew. The villagers retreat to their cozy cottages, where they mend clothes, repair tools, and tell stories of letting go, tales of things that have served their purpose and are ready to pass. It is a time for quiet reflection, for honoring the end of a cycle with grace and acceptance.
These traditions are more than just festivals. They are a way of life, a living reminder that everything is connected. The harps of the musicians are made from the ancient wood of the moonwood trees. The glowing crystals of the lanterns are gifts from the earth. The chants of the elders are echoes of the valley's own soft song. The people of Lunaris live in a state of beautiful reciprocity, giving thanks for the gifts they receive and offering their own quiet, creative energy in return. It is a cycle of peace, a promise whispered from one generation to the next, to live in harmony with the world and to find your own gentle place in its unending dance.
And as the last flute note fades into the still night air, and the final chant becomes a quiet hum, the valley settles once more into a deep, perfect sleep. The story is not yet finished, but the final chapter can wait until morning. Now, as the moon climbs to its highest point in the night sky, we must turn our gaze to the very heart of the kingdom's magic, the Moonspire Castle itself, and a sacred secret it has held for countless generations. For within its tallest and most ancient tower, shrouded in quiet reverence, bathed in the soft, silver light that pours through its high windows, lies a sacred treasure. It is a symbol not of worldly power or dominion, but of the purest and most profound peace, a relic of the harmony that first called this land into being. This is the tale of the Lunar Crown, a masterpiece of silent beauty. It is not made of gold or jewels that sparkle with a harsh, glittering light, the kind that might tempt a thief or incite a battle. Instead, it is forged from a single, unbroken piece of the purest silver, the same silver that makes the rivers glow and the moonwheat fields shimmer. It is a metal so fine it feels less like a solid and more like a captured liquid, cool to the touch and impossibly smooth. The crown itself is slender and delicate, its form a perfect circle with no beginning and no end, representing the eternal cycle of the moon and the unending flow of life in the valley. It is adorned not with a single large gem, but with a dozen tiny, perfectly formed crystal dewdrops, each one a relic from the first night Queen Seraphina herself spent in the valley. They do not sparkle with a prism of colors, they simply hold the moonlight, giving off a soft, internal glow, a light that is cool and as calming as a quiet whisper. This crown rests upon a cushion of woven star moss, a substance so old it smells of distant rain and cold air. And it is here, in the highest, quietest chamber of the tallest tower, that it waits, a silent guardian of the kingdom's soul. The chamber itself is a marvel of tranquil design, with walls of polished white stone and a domed ceiling painted with the constellations of the winter sky. The only sound within is the faint, almost imperceptible hum of the crown itself. The Lunar Crown is more than just the beautiful object. It is the very heart of the kingdom's quiet magic. It is said that its silver glow is not just reflected light, but a direct thread from the moon herself, a constant, gentle blessing that radiates down into the valley. The crown is not worn by any monarch, for its wisdom is meant to be shared, not held by one person. Instead, each night, as the sun dips below the horizon, the crown is brought from its resting place to a different window in the highest tower, facing a different direction. One night, it may face east, sending its blessing across the moonwheat fields. The next, it may face west, its light touching the whispering reeds by the river. In this way, its gentle light touches every corner of the kingdom, every cottage and every field, a silent promise that the valley will always be a place of harmony. The elders of Lunaris speak of its light as a silver lullaby, a quiet song of protection that settles over the land and fills every living thing with a sense of deep and abiding peace. This lullaby is not heard with the ears, but felt in the heart, a sensation of complete and total safety that allows for a deeper and more profound sleep. Whispered tales of the Lunar Crown are woven into every bedtime story. Children are told that if they find themselves troubled or lost in their dreams, perhaps a dream where the stars look wrong or a river won't flow, they should simply call out to the crown. And in their slumber, they will see a soft, silvery light, like a tiny star, that guides their lost souls into dreams filled with comfort and quiet joy. It is a belief that has brought solace to generations of young ones, a constant comfort in a world that might sometimes feel too big or too strange. The crown does not command or dictate. It simply guides. It does not demand obedience. It offers a gentle hand. It is a symbol of guidance and reassurance, a steadfast beacon of hope in the quiet darkness.
It is said that when a person in Lunaris has a dream of the crown, they wake up feeling completely renewed, their spirit filled with a quiet sense of purpose, a calm strength that carries them through the day. They do not remember the dream's contents, only the lingering, warm feeling of the crown's peaceful touch. The light is a reminder that no matter how disoriented they may feel, their path to peace and tranquility is always waiting for them. The myths surrounding its divine blessing are as old as the kingdom itself. It is said that the crown holds the memories of all the good deeds done in the valley, a living record of collective kindness. Every act of kindness, every shared smile, every song hummed to the wind is not lost to the aether, but absorbed into the very silver of the crown, making its glow a little brighter, its blessing a little stronger. The crown is a living history of the kingdom's collective heart, a testament to the idea that peace is not a static state, but a gift that must be continuously renewed through small, quiet acts of goodness. There are stories of times long ago when harsh winds threatened to blow through the valley and bring unease. But the elders would climb to the highest tower, and there, in the crown's gentle light, they would sing the old songs of peace, and the winds would hear the melody, a calming refrain carried on the silver glow, and they would quiet themselves, a storm turning to a gentle breeze, a threat becoming a soft sigh. It is for this reason that the people of Lunaris believe that their perpetual tranquility is a gift from the crown, a blessing they must constantly tend to with their own quiet, good-hearted lives. The crown also plays a part in the most sacred of rituals. When a child is born in Lunaris, the oldest elder of the village, their face wrinkled with the wisdom of many moons, climbs the tower at the next full moon. They hold a tiny, shimmering thread of silver, spun from the same pure metal as the crown itself, above the sacred object. The thread, it is believed, then absorbs a bit of the crown's peace, and it is then taken back to the village where the new child waits. With the thread, the elder weaves a tiny silver amulet, a protection from bad dreams and unkind thoughts. This amulet is then passed down from generation to generation, a physical link to the crown
and to the peace that it promises. It is a constant reminder that they are a part of something larger, something ancient and good. The amulet, though small, feels weighty in the palm, a tiny piece of the crown's eternal peace they can carry with them through their lives. It is never taken off, and its cool touch against the skin is a constant comfort, a quiet whisper that says, "All is well." And as you settle deeper into the warmth of your covers, you can imagine that the light of the lunar crown is a real thing, a soft silver beacon in the night, a guardian watching over you from a distant place. It is a crown that is both a guardian and a friend, watching over the valley and everyone in it, ensuring that all who rest are filled with peaceful dreams. Its silent, steady glow is a promise that everything is exactly as it should be, and that peace is the most beautiful jewel of all. The tale of Lunaris is a story of more than just a kingdom. It is a story of a place, a living, breathing entity whose soul is as gentle as the moonlight that graces its silver valleys. We have spoken of the castle, the people, and the sacred crown. But to truly know Lunaris is to walk its paths, to breathe its air, and to listen to the quiet, ancient songs of its untamed lands. As a wanderer, my journey often takes me beyond the well-lit paths of the villages and into the deeper heart of the realm, where the wildness is not the place of danger, but of pure, unbroken tranquility. This is where the kingdom's true magic whispers its most secret and beautiful truths. I followed the whispering course of the Silver River, leaving behind the comforting glow of the village and the distant, familiar hum of the castle. The shift was subtle, but profound. The air, once fragrant with the smoke of hearth fires, grew cooler and was now infused with the deep, clean scent of the untamed earth. My path was no longer the hard-packed soil of human footfalls, but was instead soft under my boots, cushioned by layers of centuries-old moss that felt like a blanket of emerald velvet. This was the same moss that carpeted the forest floor, a living tapestry that dampened every sound, making my own steps feel like a quiet part of the forest's own pulse. The air grew cooler with every step, carrying a sweet, resinous aroma that came from the ancient trees, a scent of sap and old wood that spoke of long, slow years of growth. These were the moon pines, whose boughs, laden with silver-leafed canopies, formed a vast, interlocking arch above the path. The moonlight, which had been so bright and clear in the open valley, was now a filtered, ethereal light, creating a breathtaking pattern of dappled light and shadow on the forest floor, a silent, shifting mosaic that seemed to change with every soft gust of wind. The whispers I heard were not of the wind alone, but of the leaves themselves, a hushed conversation of peace that has been ongoing since the very first day. It was a gentle, continuous murmur that told of seasons come and gone, of gentle rains and quiet nights. The entire forest felt less like a collection of trees and more like a cathedral of quiet reverence, where even the smallest sound, the rustle of a leaf, the soft click of a beetle, was a melody, a gentle note in the kingdom's eternal song. Every twist of the path seemed to reveal a new secret of this deep, verdant world. As I ventured deeper, the land began to change. The ground sloped gently downward, and the sound of the river grew louder, not with a roar, but with a gentle, cascading chime. Soon, I came upon the source of this ethereal music, a series of misty waterfalls that shimmered like spun moonlight. They fell not from a great height, but from a series of moss-covered rock ledges, each one catching the light of the moon and turning the water into a fluid stream of silver. The mist that rose from the falls did not feel wet or cold, but rather like a cool, gentle caress against the skin, carrying the scent of sweet petrichor and fresh green life. The sound was a symphony of soft chimes, each droplet landing on the still pool below with a delicate bell-like ring. I stood there for a long time, mesmerized, feeling as though I had stumbled upon a secret that the world had kept hidden just for me. The light from the falls seemed to pulse with a quiet life of its own, a silent and steady beat that resonated with the very rhythm of my own heart. The tranquility of this place was not born of an absence of life, but of its perfect, gentle presence. I watched as a family of timid deer, their coats the color of twilight, and their antlers tipped with tiny glowing crystals, came to drink from the pool below the falls. They were not startled by my presence. They simply looked up with calm, knowing eyes and continued their quiet ritual. A flock of small, glowing plants with luminous blue petals that hummed with a soft inner light lined the banks of the stream. They seemed to hum in tune with the chimes of the falling water, a gentle, unspoken chorus of the land's well-being. And as the moonlight grew ever brighter, a single songbird, its feathers shimmering like mother-of-pearl, landed on a branch above the falls and began to sing. Its song was not a loud, boisterous melody, but a series of clear, perfect notes that seemed to hang in the air for a moment before dissolving into the silent forest. It was a song of pure, uncomplicated joy, a melody of gratitude for the simple perfection of the moment. Leaving the falls, I continued on, and the forest began to thin, giving way to open meadows that stretched out like an ocean of silver. Here, the grass was not green, but a soft, luminescent gray, and among it grew a variety of fantastical plants that radiated their own soft light. There were clusters of lunar lilies, their petals unfurling in the moonlight and giving off a gentle silver glow that pulsed slowly like a sleeping heart. The air here was filled with a subtle, sweet perfume that was both calming and invigorating, a fragrance of starlight and fresh air. In the center of the meadow, a circle of dream weavers grew, their stalks like threads of spun glass, each one topped with a small glowing orb. These orbs, it is said, capture the silent whispers of the heavens and weave them into peaceful dreams for all who sleep in the valley. I lay down in the soft grass, the light of the lilies and the whisper of the dream weavers surrounding me, and felt a profound sense of timeless peace wash over me. In this moment, it became clear to me what made Lunaris so special. It was not just the castle, not just the people, but the very fabric of the land itself. The stones, the rivers, the trees, they all seemed to be infused with the same quiet spirit of harmony that guided the lives of the villagers. The beauty of this place was not something that had been created or built, but had simply always been there, waiting to be appreciated. The people of Lunaris had not bent the world to their will. but had instead chosen to live in tune with its natural, gentle rhythm. They had learned to listen to the whispers of the wind, to the chimes of the waterfalls, and to the quiet hum of the glowing plants. And in doing so, they had created a kingdom that was not just a place to live, but a state of being.
The memory of the peaceful life I had witnessed in the kingdom settled in my heart, a treasure more valuable than any gold or jewels. I thought of the children floating their paper boats on the glowing river, their innocent laughter carried on the breeze, a sound that was sweeter and more pure than any song. I thought of the artisans in the moonlit markets, their hands working with a quiet dedication that spoke of a deep love for their craft and their community. I thought of the elders, their faces filled with the wisdom of many seasons and the quiet reverence they held for the Lunar Crown, a knowledge that peace was an ancient secret they were entrusted to keep. This place was a testament to a different way of living, a world where the highest aspiration was not to conquer or acquire, but to be at peace, to live in harmony with the land, with one another, and with the gentle rhythm of the moon herself. These memories were not just things I had seen, they were things I had felt, and they would stay with me, a quiet, reassuring presence on all my journeys. The peace of Lunaris was a gift, a melody that would always hum softly in the back of my mind. As you listen to these final words, imagine yourself in the valley, a part of its silent, beautiful story. The same quiet light that shines on the rivers and the spires of Moonspire Castle is shining on you. The soft, gentle breeze of Lunaris is whispering to you, carrying the quiet, peaceful secrets of the valley, settling them around you like a soft, comforting blanket. The journey through Lunaris is a journey we can all take, a journey to a place of perfect peace, a place where all is calm and still. It is a place that lives not only in the stories of wanderers, but in the quiet stillness of your own heart. For within you too, a place of peace can be found, a soft silver valley where worries are washed away and thoughts drift away like tiny paper boats. The story is not meant to end, for the spirit of Lunaris is a timeless one. It continues to live in the quiet moments of the night, in the gentle rhythm of a peaceful breath, and in the comfort of a restful heart. And as the story fades, you can feel yourself drifting, a quiet vessel on a silver river, being carried into a land of peaceful dreams. All is quiet now. All is peaceful. All is quiet now. All is peaceful. Sleep